Hello, I'm Joel Hargis with the Florida Aviation Network, and we are here at Sun and Fun 21. We're all excited to be back at Sun and Fun this year, and I tell you what, the weather's been incredible. The Blue Angels flew in yesterday. They're going to be performing this afternoon and tomorrow. And if you haven't been out for the show this year, you ought to plan to get on over here. And if you can't make it, we've had some great shows to kind of share everything going on, got to talk to some great people. And this morning I have a wonderful guest that is very involved with something I'm passionate about, which is teaching youth aviation. And welcome, Barbara Phillips. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
So, Barb, I know you're kind of a Sun and Fun veteran.
I am.
Do you dare tell us how many years you've been coming to Sun and Fun?
Oh, a lot. I got my 25-year pin a couple years ago.
Oh.
So I'm up to about 28.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Barb is from an aviation family. I know your husband is a big aviator, and you've just bitten the bug and done all that. And you do a lot of different things around here. Tell us, I know you got something coming up. Talk to us about that.
All right. Well, I have the Aerospace Educators Workshop, and that is the Sun and Fun Aerospace Educators Workshop, and it's actually coming up tomorrow. So we could talk a little bit about that because, you know, I love getting students involved, but we need to get teachers involved as well, because think about every teacher can share that aviation knowledge with, 20 or 30 or more students.
So the Educators Workshop, so maybe I didn't understand that. So you're actually teaching teachers how to teach aviation?
Yes.
Wow, that's cool. And is this like for a school system or for a aviation youth group?
It is for Sun and Fun.
Oh.
Yes, we've had this workshop for a long time. It was started by a gentleman named Ray Lean, and every year we present an aerospace award for teaching to one teacher, and it is called the Ray Lean Award. So we will be presenting that tomorrow at our workshop. We have concurrent sessions that go on in the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, and each hour the teachers who attend get to choose this year from 3 sessions each hour. And we have STEM and STEAM and robotics and all about NASA and aviation. And they choose 1 session each hour. And then at noon, we will be in the museum, and we have our keynote speaker, Astronaut Winston Scott.
Wow.
Yes.
An astronaut as the speaker for the program. Well, that's very cool.
Well, we always try to get an astronaut or a very important person in aerospace.
So let me ask you, how do you recruit an astronaut?
Well, I've been fortunate that I've gotten to meet them at some of the trainings that I attend, different workshops and things, and I tell them about what we're doing, and if they're available, they will come. Winston lives in Melbourne, so he's actually driving in today, and with his wife Marilyn, and we're very excited because he's going to tour the campus today. He's not been here in a long time. But
really?
Traditionally, we've tried to have an astronaut each year. And we actually have a second one who is going to be doing a session via Zoom at 11 o'clock tomorrow, astronaut Charles Camarda.
And what do those guys talk about?
Well, they, of course, will share what their mission was like and, you know, all the details of what it was like when they launched. And Winston has a wonderful story that he tells.
Man.
And so they share that, and then we always like to, they'll tell the highlights of their mission, and we have a question and answer session. So the teachers actually do get to visit with them, you know, and then when we finish, they're always so kind to stay and answer questions and even sign autographs.
Oh, wow. So that's cool. That's got to be a big highlight for the attendees.
Oh, yes, it is.
Probably pretty enjoyable for you as well.
Yes, it is.
To meet these, I mean, the coolest of cool pilots
Right.
and astronauts. I mean, that's neat. And, you know, Barb, one of the things that you and I have talked about, and we certainly have in common, is a program that I've kind of started doing in remote shoots for the Florida Aviation Network, and that is teaching youth aviation.
Yes.
And I know I'm passionate about that. It's my give back. And when we kind of started our group up in our EAA near Leesburg, in looking around at the programs around the state and even the country, that's where I really learned about yours. And you have a program out of ORL, is that right?
Yes.
And so, I know a little bit about it, but please tell everyone, let's start with like how long you've been doing it and what kind of go through your syllabus and curriculum, because it's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you. One of my favorite topics is to talk about what we do with youth in aviation education. It all started for me when I went to a conference many years ago on a Saturday in Baltimore and learned about the National Congress on Aviation and Space Education. So I started attending that. I met Scott Crossfield, and that it was just very, very motivating. And I was a fifth grade teacher, continued to be a fifth grade teacher, but I wanted to reach more students. So I was encouraged to write for the Eleanor Roosevelt grant, which was to teach middle school girls something that would help them improve and choose the higher level classes in math and science. So I said, well, aviation can do that. So I wrote, that was my first ever grant back in 1990, and received that grant and started teaching then in Hagerstown, Maryland, and had 15 girls come for each session. They came 12 Monday nights from 6 to 9 and 3 Saturdays each session.
You started this in Maryland.
I did.
And what year was that?
1990.
Wow, I did not know that. I did not know that.
Then I came here, and AAUW contacted me and said, we'd like you to continue that here. So I continued with the girls for a few more years, and then the EAA said, wait a minute, how about if you would do boys and girls? And of course at school I had boys coming up saying, we really wish you would have a camp for us.
For sure.
So I started out with doing summer camps. They'd come a week, like all day, or maybe 2 weeks, and we'd come half days. And then once I started doing that with the EAA, and we just call it Introduction to Aviation, we meet on Saturday mornings at Orlando Executive, and we have a little clubhouse there. And then I needed people to help teach, and they all, as I would go to them, I wrote the curriculum, and then I looked for people with expertise in each area. And many of them would look at me and say, well, no, you're the teacher. And I said, no, I don't have expertise in all these fields.
Right.
So I really love to involve others and have them share that with students. So we started out, and our first class is really an introduction. They learn all about the principles of flight, the forces, the axes, Bernoulli's principle, lots of like hands-on things.
So that's the first class.
That's our first class, and they're kind of getting to know each other, because interestingly, we take 15 students each time, and we have their...
And just 15?
Just 15. A lot of my instructors are very comfortable with 15.
Okay.
So I've tried to coax them to a few more, but they like me to keep it at 15.
Wow.
So we do that session, and then they end up, we hand them those little balsa wood gliders. So they play with those, and they have, see how far they'll fly. Then the last thing of the day is we hand them some balsa wood and some tape and some paper clips. They have to get into groups of 3 and design a glider that will fly the greatest distance.
Really?
So they're getting to know each other. They've just learned a little bit about the principles of flight. But yes, they come up with interesting designs, to say the least. But we have the little contest, and that's how we wind up week 1. Week 2, we actually then start out with weather. And we have the little wind bags and all kinds of things where they do some hands-on, learn about weather. One of the the people who instructs that class actually has flown in his own plane and made some video clips showing the changes in weather and how things look, and showing them the instruments. So it's a lot of fun.
So week 2 is weather.
Weather, and the last hour and a half, we take a little tour. We go outside on the ramp and walk over next door to the Orange County Sheriff's hangar.
Oh.
And the purpose of that is I like to also bring careers into this. So we talk about careers in the aviation division with the sheriff's office, and they get a tour. They get to sit in the helicopters, and they have a fabulous video that they've done for us.
Oh,
so
cool.
yeah, so we tour that, and that lots of questions, and
I bet the sheriffs love it too, don't they?
They do. They really do. And so that kind of winds up week 2. Week 3, we build a model. We bring them in actually at 8:30 that day because they need some extra time.
Right.
But this, the model with the dihedral wing, it's rubber band powered. We build those, and it takes all morning to build those. And then we have a grassy area out near the clubhouse, and we take them out and we let them fly them. So it's an exciting day, and
And all of that in a day.
all that in a day. They usually leave about 12:30 that day because they're having so much fun. And then the parents get there, and they like to come out and see them fly as well. So yes, and then from there, in week 4, we study navigation, communication. I have a lady who teaches that class who loves to do role plays. So she role plays as the air traffic controller, and they come up with their own N numbers, and they make like a little hat and wear that. And so they have to call her, because she's gone over all the communication with them. They have to call her and ask for taxi and clearance to take off.
You know, that's funny because there's a lot of adults that have their private pilot's
Yes.
license that need some of that, you know, because maybe they learned at a non-towered airport or something, and
Right.
so yeah, that's something that that radio communication, and they're learning that at such a young age. What's that age group again?
12 through 17.
12 through 17, and they're learning how to talk to ATC. That's very
Yes,
powerful,
well, and then that's going
important.
to connect again a little bit later. On week 5, we come back and we have all the jigs set up, and they build wing ribs because we want them to know about building, the home-built planes.
Do some building.
So they do. They build a wing rib, and we encourage them to take that home and hang it on the wall. And we also do some riveting, so they understand
kidding.
that. Yes.
You got to send them up to Steve Wolf's while he's building that P-47.
Right.
thing.
Oh, that would be an awesome little trip for them, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yes. So, and then with week 6, our other little field trip on the airport, we go to the control tower. And we have the airport manager usually come in, and we split the group. Half of them will hear about the history of Orlando Executive Airport, when it was a military base.
Yes, it was.
And most people did not realize that, especially our 12 through 17-year-olds.
Sure.
And the history, I think, is so important. So they share that, while the other half actually go up in the tower, meet the controllers. They give them binoculars. They let them watch the planes, and they get to hear
What they practiced.
Yes, what they practice. They get to hear them talking both ways. So they're in the tower with the controllers. And then on week 7, we do flight planning, and I get a tack chart, and every one of them have their own tack chart. So we have these spread out all over the table, tables.
A sectional, VFR sectional?
Yes, so the terminal area chart. The tack chart is the one we use for the Orlando area. And they are then taught to do flight planning to 3 local airports. And they go from Orlando up your way to Leesburg for the first leg. And so they are learning all about flight planning and the course and true course, everything, to plan out where they're going. We have them mark their checkpoints, what they should see as they will fly this trip.
Dead reckoning, absolutely.
Right. And then when they get to Leesburg, then the next leg goes from Leesburg to Kissimmee.
That's a flight.
That is. And then the third one from Kissimmee back to Orlando Executive. And of course, they have to stay out of the airspace going into Orlando International. So they also get to see how you plan that ahead of time. And then actually, week 8 is what we call our graduation flight. and they fly the trip that they planned.
Really, as a young eagle through the EAA, is that how that?
Yes, it's part of it.
Gets done.
But yes, they get a certificate for completing our introduction to aviation classes. And then, of course, with the Young Eagles, then since they've done that, they also have access to the online sporties for those who are interested in going on and
which
get
is a
pilot's
full
license.
private pilot training course.
Right.
What a ground school that is. I mean, that is remarkable.
So that's an overview of our 8 weeks, but it's a lot of fun. They really love it. And the amazing thing is, with all the aviation classes I've done with young people, attendance is amazing. They're always there.
Well, and you know, so that was actually going to be my next question, because you know, we have a youth group up at Leesburg, and recruiting kids for that is honestly one of the hardest things we struggle with. And I have been to several of the high schools. I've spoken several times trying to get them to a free airplane ride, a Young Eagle flight, or, you know, talk about the youth group. And, you know, we really struggle getting interest. What makes you successful at that?
Well, you know, the best part is word of mouth. It's the students who have gone through it, and they're so excited while they're taking it. So they share that with their friends, and then the parents start contacting me and saying, hey, you know, our friends are taking the class now. Could we sign up for the next session, or, you know, whichever? Because I do 3 sessions a year, a fall, a winter, and a spring. We don't have it in the summer. So we have learned, because like you, I started out trying to go and talk about it and, you know, send the information out. But I have found the very best way to let people know is the people you're working with.
Yeah, I get that, and you got to start somewhere, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's the trick, is to prime the pump.
But I don't have any difficulty getting 15 students. I usually start getting, I tell them they're on a waiting list for the next session. Then if someone needs to make a change and they have to change sessions, then they might get in.
Okay.
But I usually have classes going ahead. And of course, right now I have two almost full sessions waiting when we go back and start again in September. Yes.
Well, and you and I have talked about this. One of the things that I want to do is I want to get up there with a remote camera crew, and I want to film this, and you know, so we can put it on the internet and people can watch and see how you do this and literally see what's going on. I think what, you know, we're sharing with people here is so important, because again, this is so duplicatable, right?
Oh, it is, absolutely. I tell people that all the time, that you can do it in your area. That's why I change the curriculum sometimes. I wrote the original curriculum here at Sun & Fun for the Destination Aviation. That's a few years ago now. That's the aviation summer camps. And there are different age groups, so I wrote curriculum. So when you do different age groups, you design it so that it will be good for that age group.
Right.
And so we had like 3 different age groups.
And you wrote that curriculum
I wrote the original.
for their Destination Aviation here at Sun & Fun?
Yes.
Gosh, that's been going on.
It has, and
long
staff,
time?
Took it over now. I did it for I don't know. I want to say like the first 4 years.
And when did that start?
Like 2000. Around there, and then
21 years
and then
ago.
we commute. I would commute back and forth every day. I'm not sure I could do that now with the traffic, but yes, and the staff does it, and they do a great job. But I'm looking forward to coming down and checking in this summer. I've been talking with Kimberly about that.
And so give a plug for that, because we've actually sent a couple kids to that.
Great.
But explain how you sign up for that, how you get accepted. Is there a fee? What kind of fee? And
yeah, I don't know what the price is right now, but yes, here it is. There is a fee, and I know they work out of the Piedmont Hangar and the Davis Education Center.
Okay.
And
which is right here.
Right next door, and they can come daily. Or they usually offer, if you want to come in on Monday and stay through Friday.
Really?
They have the residents, yes.
Do you know what the age group is on that?
Well, they have the younger ones. I'm thinking they start around 8. And then, so there's like an 8 to 10 age group. And then you have like an 11, maybe 13, and then you're 14 to 17.
All right.
I think they still continue 3 age groups. But I recommend it to people. I have a lot of students when they finish our classes, they want, well, what can we do next?
And that's,
so I send them over here, and I always tell parents, you know, you can carpool. One of you can drive them over. It starts at 9 o'clock, and then one of the other parents can pick them up and take them home if you're going to do, you know.
And it's a 1-week program.
It's 1 week.
And they do it just 1 week in the summer, or do they run multiples?
No, they offer like 6 weeks of it or so.
Whoa, okay.
There's lots, and you can just go on the website and look up Destination Aviation, and you will get a description of what you do, and you'll see the dates for this year and the cost, everything involved.
Well, I know for me, helping youth understand aviation is very rewarding.
It is very rewarding. I love it, and the biggest thrill for me is when I have a former student contact me and share with me what they're doing.
Oh, yeah, right?
In aviation.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
And so we're about out of time here. Barb, geez, just another great Sun and Fun show this year.
Yes.
We're all having a good time. I encourage everybody to get out here and see all the airplanes, and you know, we've got vendors in the exhibit buildings again, and come to Sun and Fun. Bring your kids. Expose them to aviation. There's so many things kids can do in aviation other than being pilots. Yes. And I mean, the good thing is it pays very well. And so it's just a great career choice. Come to Sun and Fun. I'm Joel Hargis with the Florida Aviation Network here at Sun and Fun 21. Come see us here.